They say the road to hell is paved with good intent. So what's the road to heaven paved with? Bad intent? But sometimes we have the best of intentions and then things turn out absolutely wrong, or we feel that we somehow get taken advantage of. And sometimes we find ourselves in a position where we just kind of feel like we long for something different, long for something better in life, perhaps even long for a time that was once before, where we felt like we had the good things in life, where things didn't feel like they were quite so topsy-turvy. And perhaps at some point, your mind became focused upon doing something with the best of intent, both for somebody else and equally for yourself. But it was a sacrifice that you made. And it was a sacrifice that you made willingly. So really you shouldn't self-flagellate, and give yourself a hard time and go, that was a stupid idea, right? But you do have to look at the fact that perhaps that good intent that you had created somewhat of a living hell for you. So does that mean that you then turn around and go, right, well, now I have bad intent, right? Now I don't want all those good things for this person. Now I don't want that for this person. I just want it all for myself. No, you don't go that other way either, because truth is that's not going to create the heaven that you want. That's just going to create another hell. So, that whole thing of the road to hell being paved with good intent, well, no. The road to hell is paved by your own vision of what heaven and hell actually are, right? So if you do something that you felt was absolutely righteous, but then it makes your life a living hell, you got to look at whether that concept of something that you did that you felt was righteous was really something that was better for your well-being or not. Right? And if it was something that was better for your well-being, why place yourself in a living hell because of it? Because really in that particular scenario, it's you who's creating the own hell, because you're going, well, I shouldn't have done that. And you're guilt tripping yourself, right? So you can still, make yourself an angel, or you can make yourself a devil. And truth of the matter is we all have a little bit of an equal portion of each within us, right? But I digress, perhaps, but perhaps not. On the 5th of October, Venus is going to station in Swati Nakshatra and begin its retrograde motion, and it will remain retrograde until the 16th of November. So it'll backtrack from the 5th of October through the 30th of October through Swati Nakshatra, and then it's going to re-enter Chitra Nakshatra, where it will station on the 16th of November. It re-enters Chitra Nakshatra on the 30th of October. So mixed in with this whole process, there's this desire within you to return to a life that was more pleasurable, a life where you felt like you actually enjoyed things, where you felt refreshed. You didn't feel like every day, because of something that you felt that you needed to do because of what was honorable and the right thing to do, that you then find yourself in a position where you're exhausted and nothing's working out well and there's absolutely no happiness in your life. No, instead, you want to feel full of energy, you want to feel full of health, you want to feel full of vitality, and feel like there's a reason to wake up every day and feel absolutely wonderfully happy about your life, right? Of course you do. And even though you had all those good intents and you made all these sacrifices, which, by the way, were probably the right thing to do, your life became bumpy. It became very, topsy-turvy, and things got all disjointed. When you didn't really intend for them to, you were trying to smooth out your life and equally, potentially, to smooth out the life of somebody else, right? But there comes a certain time in life where you have to make a decision. Okay? You have to make that decision between how much of yourself you sacrifice for another, and equally, how much of yourself you sacrifice for yourself because you see yourself as being sacred, right? And if you see yourself as being sacred, then there's a lot more strength, there's a lot more power from which you have the capacity to act and actually help somebody else in a way that's much smoother, that's easier, that doesn't make you feel like you're becoming absolutely drained every time you wake up and every time you place yourself in the environment of a person or a situation, that makes it just feel like everything is absolutely drained. Okay, so if you want to understand those particular areas of your life, well, first thing I would suggest is schedule an astrological consultation with me through the astrological services page of my website. If you're interested in doing that, you can follow the link above. But you can also look at where Jupiter rules in your chart, and you can look at where Venus rules. Where Venus rules in your chart, those are the areas of your life that you're looking to have much more enjoyment in, that you're looking to find much greater pleasure for. When you look at what Jupiter's ruling in your chart, you can see those areas where you had the best of intent, right? And that best of intent that you had really on a certain level made your life more enjoyable in certain areas, but the more you begin to try to make your life more enjoyable in those areas that Venus rules, then those areas that Jupiter rules begin to fall apart. Because what's happening? Well, when Venus and Jupiter are in close proximity to each other, something very interesting happens, which is Venus starves Jupiter, and Jupiter relates to all that good that we want to naturally flow from us, that desire to have our life feel spiritually enriched and to have our life feel spiritually purposeful. Venus relates to wanting to enjoy life, wanting to have a good time, right? And when we try to focus a lot on trying to make our life smoother, trying to revitalize our life, sometimes Jupiter suffers. Okay? But Jupiter delights Venus and it strengthens Venus. So during this particular early part of the transit, most especially between the 5th of October and the 30th of October, you're likely going to find that you're becoming more rejuvenated in those areas of your chart that Venus rules. But what's happening as a result is those areas that you tend to do well, I'm getting tongue twisted. Those areas that you intend to do well with in terms of wanting to help somebody else, well, those suddenly begin to suffer, right? So for instance, if you're trying to make your career more enjoyable, or if you're trying to feel like you're wanting to make your relationship more enjoyable, right? Well, those areas of your life where you intend well elsewhere, basically through Jupiter, those areas can begin to kind of go on the downside. So back to the original point in hand, you may find yourself in a position where you intend well, but the fact that you intended well has made your life less pleasurable. So now you're deciding, I want to live a life that has more pleasure in it. I want to rejuvenate my life. I want my life to be smoother. I want things to go well. Well, in order to do that, you're going to have some boundaries in your life. Towards the end of October, actually, I believe it's mid-October, sorry, I apologize, Jupiter is going to enter Anuradha Nakshatra. And as Jupiter is transiting through Anuradha Nakshatra, it's going to help you to reestablish some firm boundaries in your life that make it so that you're able to continue living your life in a manner that provides enjoyment, that provides rejuvenation. And then what's going to happen is once Venus begins to transit through Chitra Nakshatra, you're going to find yourself living a life or focusing your life more intensively on a path that feels like it's honoring your own independent values, your own independent virtues. And that's going to go well for the most part. you may find a hint of reticence, that makes you feel like, well, I chose this particular path because it felt right by me. It felt like it was the right thing to do for me. I've set good boundaries in my life, but now I'm disenchanted with this path because all that good that I intended to do, well, that's now suddenly gone by the wayside, but it hasn't. Okay. That's just a feeling. Feelings are very valid, but that's just a feeling. So once Venus begins to, towards the end of the year, regain its forward motion, and once it begins to, kind of shift back through Swati Nakshatra, you're going to find yourself in a position where you've got the right level of distance between your own path and the path of another, to the extent that you can commit yourself to those things that you want to have more enjoyment from, those things that you want to have more enrichment from, and equally honor your commitment to another path. You just had to go through the process of finding yourself in a position where you could establish the proper sense of boundaries so that you could give to yourself and equally give to another. If you could use a little bit of help with a difficult process associated with this particular transit or anything else in your life, please do remember to feel free to schedule an astrological service with me through the astrological services page of my website. If you're interested in doing so, all you have to do is follow the link above. That's going to do it for Venus's retrograde transit through Swati and Chitra Nakshatra from the 5th of October 2018 until the 16th of November. Until next time, please do take the very best care of yourself. Bye now.